And hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So it's a rest day for me today. I'm currently 17 and a half weeks out from my first show of the season, the 2025 season. It has been a minute since I've done a YouTube video, so I will catch you up later in the day about where I've been and what's happened since. But today is a rest day. I have just done my cardio, which is 25 minutes, 5 times a week, fasted in the morning at the moment. And now I'm going to go out and do my first block of steps. So I try to get about 4,000 steps done first thing in the morning. And then I'll come back and I will eat meal one and I'll show you what that is. This morning I did do my check-in. I will add my check-in pictures to this screen just here. And this is where we're currently at. So some big physique changes since I last did a YouTube video. But we will go over all of that in this one. So stay tuned and welcome back. I'm happy to be back. Back from my first walk of the morning. I've been replying to some client messages, and this is my toxic trait. I've just been making my meal one. I get distracted by client messages, and then I let my meal one completely boil over in the microwave. It makes a right mess. And yeah, it's not a vibe that you want to start on. I need to start focusing when I'm cooking so that I don't forget things. So anyway, I'm just putting my meal one together. So I'll just show you guys what it is. And you know what? I was just thinking, even down to the bowl that I'm eating this meal out of has been the same for years. So the fact is that you guys have probably seen this on vlogs from a few years ago. How embarrassing is that? But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This bowl is my oat bowl, and I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere, to be honest. Even in the off season when I'm trying to fit 70, 80 grams of oats in it, it's Josh always laughs at me. But anyway, I'll show you what is in this meal, and then I'm going to get on with the day and start check-ins. Have it. This is brownie batter whey paste. So I always get asked, I think a lot of bodybuilders know what this is now, but I think if general pop see this and they're like, what is that icing stuff? So it's just my 30 grams of whey powder, and I add a little bit of water. I mix it so it just goes like a thick paste. So it tastes like cake icing. That's all I can sort of describe it as. 10 grams of chocolate, and then obviously my Vits, my rest of my water, and then this is a decaf coffee. So I've been having a decaf first thing just because I want to just leave it a little bit more time before I have caffeine, because I take an iron supplement that iron does not absorb in your body if you're having caffeine with it. So something I didn't know, something I've learned quite recently. So that is why we're having the decaf first, and I will have a proper coffee in about an hour or so. And a couple of hours later, and I'm just doing my veg prep for the day before my next meal. So I have weighed out my vegetable allowance for the day, and then what I'll do is I'll cook this all up, and then I will just spread it across my next 3 meals of the day. I did have some lettuce with my last meal, and honestly, I weigh everything. I weigh my lettuce, my vegetables, I weigh it all, because there is still calories in veg. So if you don't weigh your vegetables, or you just don't have the same amount every day and you're not consistent with it, then, you know, this is all stuff you need to take into account in a prep. Because in a prep, it is 100% of everything. So I weigh out my vegetables, cook these up, and then these get cooked every single day, and I just spread it then evenly across my 3 or 4 meals that have veg that day. So I have vegetables with all my savoury meals. I won't have them with obviously oats, or I don't have them with my pre-workout either, or my post-workout. Obviously it is a rest day today, so I will have veg with all of my savoury meals. So I'll show you this to you guys now, and then I'll get a meal in, and then we're going to sit down and I'm going to fill you in on last season, where I was at with placings and prep, and then I'll talk a little bit about the plan of action for this year. So this is my vegetable allowance for today. Minus 50 grams of spinach, which I have 50 grams of spinach a day, and then I have my other veg weighed out. So this is just cherry tomatoes, mushrooms and pepper. Just have vegetables that you like. It's no specifics, but you do want to have a variety, because having a variety of vegetables in your diet, number one, is great for your health, but number two, I cannot stress this enough, but vegetables in your diet during prep for your digestion is a game changer. And honestly, I think back to my first years of prepping, and I would use like fibre supplements, and I would just probably have a little bit of broccoli in a couple of meals per day. So probably 100 grams of vegetables a day. So nothing, just nothing. And then wonder why I'd have such bad digestion during prep and couldn't go to the toilet. We need fibre, we need vegetables, because it's just helping, it's going to help with everything. And honestly, I know people say you can take a green supplement or stuff like that, but I've done that before, and digestion and just everything has been better just eating proper vegetables, a variety of vegetables. So yeah, so I total up my vegetables for the day. It's like 375 grams a day of veg split across my meals. And I have 6 meals, but 2 tend to be without vegetables. So that is the amount of vegetables I have. And then I also have about 200 to 300 grams of fruit per day as well. So, you know, a good amount of fibre, a good amount of micronutrients going in, because it's not just about your macros, it's about your micronutrients for your health, your skin, you know, how you feel, you know, how your digestion feels. Like, that's why we need to have these things and take these things into consideration. But I won't bore you with that coach talk too much longer. I'm going to cook up this veg, have my next meal, and then we're going to sit down and go through where I've been. That was very elegant. But let's sit down and do a little bit of an update for you guys watching, because the last YouTube video that I did, so I did a YouTube video last prep, and I think it was about 11, it was either 14 or 11 weeks out from my first planned show of the season, from what I can remember. Since that vlog, I didn't do any more of last year's season. So I did want to just update you guys what happened there. So my plan was to YouTube the prep, but I just didn't. I didn't have a camera, and I was in that mindset where, you know, I need somebody to YouTube me for me. I need to pay for the professional vlogs and things like that, the professional YouTube videos. And then, you know what, looking back, I think I just enjoy doing it like vlog style anyway. That's the way I've always done it. And that's the sort of ones I like watching on YouTube of competitors as well. I like watching their real vlogs rather than them always being professionally done. And I think I just got in my head last season that that's how it needed to be. It needed to be this big, you know, professional setup. So anyway, I think that's one of the reasons I didn't end up doing any YouTube of last season. But anyway, that aside, let's just go into last season. So I had 2 shows planned last season, which actually weren't the shows I ended up doing. So I wanted to do a 2 Bros regional and then a pro qualifier. My first, well, actually, it's not my first pro qualifier, my second ever pro qualifier with 2 Bros. So that was the plan. However, the prep needed to be extended because I essentially wasn't ready. So we ended up having to just do different shows. So I did a regional, and then I did a PCA show as well, because I wanted to get shows done. I wanted to get a few more shows in rather than just one. And I had a holiday booked, so it wasn't like I could extend my season, you know, past what I planned. I'd already been prepping for a while. So by the time I actually did my first show of the season, which was the 2 Bros KC Classic last year, I'd already been on prep for 27 weeks, and that was my first show. So obviously things just hadn't gone 100% to plan. So after that, a week later, I did a PCA show, which was great because I just wanted more stage time. I'd prepped for all that time and I wanted to do more shows. So I did a PCA show as well. So that was a lot of fun and just a great experience. So I'm really glad that I did that. But obviously, you know, I train for and I pose for, and it's what I personally like, is the NPC bikini look. They are the girls that I look up to in the IFBB Pro League, and it is the look I prefer. PCA is so much fun, and I always would recommend, like, do a PCA show if you're not too sure what you want to do, because the shows are set up great, and they're just a little bit more free in terms of you can be a little bit more free with your posing. You can flex your muscles a lot harder because that's what they're after. The more muscle, the harder, the leaner you are, the more they like it. It's less, I would say, of like a specific criteria versus like tube rows, which is way more specific, I would say, you know, for bikini. So did those 2 shows, and then I went away on holiday, and then I started my off season when I got back from holiday mid-October. And then since mid-October last year, I've been in my off season, and then I started prep for this year a couple of weeks ago, so right at the beginning of May. So my shortest ever off season, I have always taken around a full year away from prep during my bodybuilding journey. I've never done back-to-back years of competing. To be honest, it's because I know that I've got so much improvement to make. I didn't start bodybuilding until my late 20s, you know. I think I was 28 or 29 when I did my first show. And prior to that, I'd only been bodybuilding for a couple of years. So I've not maxed out my physique, let's just say that. So I've always given myself long off seasons, you know, for time to grow and build that muscle and build that foundation. Now, what last year taught me is that actually I can make great progress with a shorter off season as long as I manage my post show well. And I would say that this past season is the first time I have managed my post show really well. So I have kept everything the same. I've still gone on a holiday. I've still had weekly off-plan meals. I've had more balance in terms of, yes, obviously having holidays and having off-plan meals versus a prep. But my day-to-day life and routine, I treat like prep. So I weigh my salt every single day. I drink my 6 litres of water every single day. I train hard. I recover hard. I eat 6 meals a day. I go to sleep early so that I have enough time in sleep recovering. So I just treat every day like prep. However, the difference is there's more food because you're eating in a surplus, and there is a bit more flexibility in terms of I can go out for a meal with my husband, or I can go to a social occasion and eat something off plan, and I can go on holidays and enjoy the food on holiday, you know. So it just showed me that really it's not the length of your off season, it's how you treat your off season. It's fine to gain body fat, that's fine, but you need to know that there's a cap for where that should be, because ultimately I realised this, if I get past a certain body weight, then it's just fat. I'm not progressing really with muscle, and my body just becomes quite inefficient at that point to progress. So that is lessons learned. But look, how many years down the line am I learning that lesson, you know? Quite a few. But this is bodybuilding. You're never going to know everything. And I think first timers, you should take this into account. You want to be perfect at your first show, but you won't be, because you won't even realise the mistakes you're probably making yet until you've been through the process a few times. One thing I will say as well is that, you know, as the years go by, you know, the knowledge we have now in the coaching industry, obviously I'm a coach, I, you know, work with an amazing coach, like the knowledge we have nowadays and that, you know, younger competitors have nowadays and just all competitors have nowadays is so far beyond even what I had back in 2019 when I did my first show. It's just so different now, like, and this is why I think everybody's getting better and the standard of bodybuilding is getting better, you know, because the level of knowledge, coaching, it's of such a higher standard than what it used to be. Again, it doesn't mean that coaches I worked with in the past were shit. It just means that knowledge has come on. They've learned more. Probably what they did with me back then isn't what they're doing with clients now. So there's a lot of things to unpack there. But what I will say is that last season, it showed me that, yes, I have improved, but my time away from stage, because I had 2 years off prior to last season, yes, I have improved, but so has everybody else, and the standard of bodybuilding has improved. So it was almost like, you need to remember this when you're thinking of placings and, being potentially disheartened that, oh, I'm still not placing where I want to place. But you've got to remember, the sport is evolving fast and the standard is getting so much better each year that goes by. So yes, I improved last season, but so has everyone else, and the sport had literally moved on even in 2 years. Like, the standard of people now that you compete against is really high, which is great. That is competitive bodybuilding at the end of the day, and we don't do it for an easy ride or the trophies. We do it because we love the process. But you just need to remember that. So last season I got 2 second places at both of those regional competitions. So my first show, I honestly was surprised that I got the placing I did, because the two of the girls in the height class had a lot more muscle than me. And I honestly just outposed the girl that got third, so that's the reason I feel I got second. I was happy with the look, but oh my word, after 2 years away from stage, I was stressed on show day. I was very stressed just because I was nervous. So every little thing that shouldn't be stressful, I was finding stressful. So I think, as much as I wanted to manage my nerves, after 2 years away, I was just nervous. So it is what it is, I was happy with the look, but I definitely smoothed over a little bit during the day. And yeah, I think what saved me is I've got good shape, I've got some good ratios going on. I had gained some muscle, but like I said, I just had got a little bit nervous, so I smoothed over a little bit, I think. Which, again, I was against 2 girls that were quite muscular and hard, so that made me look even worse, I think. But I still got that second place, so I was happy with that. And that was a placing up from the last time I competed with 2 bros, and I got a 3rd place. So I'm looking at the positives here. And then my second show was so much better. I was a little bit leaner because I was a little bit calmer that day. Also, it was a huge class of girls. There was like 12 of us. Whereas my last show, there was only 3 in the height class, so I was a bit like, ugh, it's not much competition. So the second show gave me a chance to be up against a lot of other people. So yeah, it was a big class of girls. Bikini short always does tend to be a big class, but there was 12 of us, and I came away with the 2nd place. And the girl that beat me, rightly so, she just had a bit more muscle than me, so she rightly deserved it. But then after that, I just went into my off season, and I was just adamant to nail my reverse, because I knew that after having the 2 years off, I did want to compete this year. I did want to start getting more shows under my belt and just compete a bit more, because I'm getting on, guys. I'm getting older and I'm not going to be doing this forever. And I just want to make sure that I am doing all the shows I want to do. I'm competing more often, so I get more stage time, more experience, more time prepping, more time just getting better at posing, just everything, and I put a lot of time and knowledge into, myself, but also now as a coach for my own athletes. Like, learning the sport of bodybuilding is a very specific thing, especially bikini and wellness. They are specific criterias. It's not just be the biggest, be the hardest. Like, it's not about that. So yeah, I really did enjoy last season, even though the prep didn't quite go to plan. Again, this was no one's fault. This was just me and my coach really learning really what my sort of stage look is, and sometimes that doesn't always go to plan. Do I immediately get frustrated and sack my coach because my prep's not gone to plan? No, absolutely not. Me and Meg have got a fantastic relationship. We're open and honest. I was open and honest with her. She's open and honest with me. And we just came up with a plan B, a plan of attack. And, now we move forward with those lessons learned into this prep. And so far, so good. I started this prep much leaner than last year, so already, my body looks completely different, which is nice. It's exciting. I've managed to maintain the lines through my legs and my glutes this off season as well, which is really good for me. I feel like I've made a lot of progress in terms of muscle through this off season. just honestly staying locked in with everything. You always feel like you're staying locked in, but this year really there has not been much change from prep. The only change during the off season was a weekly off plan meal and the odd holiday here and there. Apart from that, steps, all my non-negotiables: steps, water, salt, sleep, training, nutrition. Everything has been just to a T, and it has paid off. It really has. The progress that you make by keeping your post show as similar to prep as you can, honestly, and not just going off your diet and feeling like you deserve a break. You'll be surprised at the progress you can make in terms of muscle mass through a shorter off season. So I think that's covered everything. I'm not going to go into too much more detail, guys, because, you know, we've had a break. It is what it is. We just need to move forwards with what is now. And I'm really excited for this season. So the shows I've got planned, just before I finish this clip up, the shows I've got planned is I'm going to be doing a Two Bros Regional on, I think it's the 4th of October. I actually don't know the name of the regional, what it's called, but yeah, that's the one I'll be doing. And then I'll be going into the British finals, which will be mid-October. And then I'm going to be doing a pro qualifier, I think 2 weeks later, internationally. So finally going abroad to do a show, an international show, because I've done a pro qualifier in the UK before, the Arnold's, the first ever UK Arnold's, but I've never done a pro qualifier abroad. So I really want to do that, just to experience it, to be honest, and see where I stand. But yeah, all exciting stuff, guys. So anyway, that's going to finish this clip. I don't want to talk anymore. I don't want to make it too long. Hopefully that's not been too much of a whirlwind and information thrown at you. But I'll catch you in the next clip. Right then, guys, so it's coming up to 5 o'clock. I am just wrapping up work for the day. I still got messages to do. I've still got an Instagram post to write, and I've still got some other things to do, but I can do them on my phone whilst I'm chilling out later. So I'm going to get myself off this office chair now. Going to go get my next meal, and I'm also going to do a bit of food prep for Josh as well, because Josh doesn't work at home. He works in the office, so he has to take all of his meals to the office every single day. So I do try and help him out a little bit with meal prep, because, you know, when there's both of you doing bodybuilding, you know, between us we're eating 12 meals a day, and it's just nice to be able to help each other out a little bit with things like cooking and stuff like that, because too many cooks in the kitchen and all that, I wouldn't actually like it anyway. So it's my little domain, and I find cooking therapeutic, especially our sort of cooking, because it's so simple, and there's not much to it. So it's quite quick, to be honest. So he is on his way home now. So I'm going to get my next meal, and then we're going to go out and finish steps together before we chill out for the evening and I get on with the rest of the work for the day. And in the kitchen now, sorry, the dishwasher is on if you can hear that in the background, but I've just made up my meal 4, so I will show you what that is now. So this is just beef, 5% fat beef with some of those veggies that I cooked up earlier, and also some spinach. Top tip on prep: if you eat out of a smaller bowl, it makes you feel like your meals are a little bit bigger. Just back home from steps now, so if my hair didn't look bad before, well, it definitely does now. Now I'm windswept. I'm just making up meal 5, so we're back in the kitchen. So I'll show you what this meal is, but this is some carbs with this meal, which is nice. So on a rest day, I have 3 meals that have no carbs, they're just protein, fats, and then I have 3 meals that do have carbs. So I'm looking forward to this one. I've got a bit of rice, a bit of avocado, some veg and chicken, and also some pineapple. So 100 grams of pineapple. We have here my chicken. This is 40 grams of raw weight rice, and then I've got 25 grams of avocado here, and then I'm going to put this in the pan with the veggies I cooked up earlier. So I have been doing my food in a pan purely for the fact that it just tastes a little bit nicer, and I was using the microwave a lot for all my meals, reheating all the food, and honestly I don't mind it like that, I don't, but just something that I see my coach do a lot is heat her food up in the pan, and she says she's always said to me it tastes nicer, and I actually agree, it does taste nicer in the pan. So when I can, I have been heating my food up in the pan. It does just make it a little bit nicer, and you know what, it doesn't take much time at all, probably the same amount of time as putting it in the microwave and waiting for it to heat up. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to put this meal together, I'll show you when it's done, and then get that eaten. And here we have it. So this is the meal all warmed up on the pan. I just love avocado and it's such a good source of healthy fats. The pineapple with this as well, pineapple has got some great enzymes in for digestion. So that is why it's a great accompaniment to meals, just to help with that. In terms of, you know, why having pineapple, you could have any other fruit, of course you can, but you know, we also eat for the benefits of the food and what they're going to have. Great digestion just means that your body is able to utilize food much better. So that is that. But I'm going to go and enjoy this now. It is a few hours later now. I'm back in the kitchen just making up last meals for me and Josh. So I will show you what that is in a second, but it's just another meal of oats, but it's my favourite thing to eat, so I'm buzzing about it. Last meal on a rest day is always something to get excited about, but I'm going to close this vlog up after this clip here, guys. And I just want to say, if you got to the end, thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe to my channel, like this video, subscribe to the channel, just so that, you know, it gives me that incentive to keep making these vlogs throughout this prep. But I have really enjoyed doing this today, and I'll make sure that the next one is a training day, so we can do a little bit of different food and, you know, sort of my protocol for training day. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep winging it, to be honest. There's not gonna be any plan. I'm just gonna pick this camera up as and when. I'll try and get on top of this weekly, because I'll be honest with you, I've just already edited most of this today already, and it's not been that bad at all. So maybe all this, me putting it off and being scared about doing these vlogs, was just silly, because it's not been that bad at all to do. But right then, guys, I'm off. I'm excited to bring you along this prep. I'm really excited for this prep, because I've never looked like this ever at this point in a prep, or to be honest, with my physique in general. So I'm really excited. I think I'm going to bring quite a competitive package this year. I really do hope so anyway. But if not, you know what, we do it anyway because we love it, and that is bodybuilding. But anyway, I'll show you what this meal is, and then we will be over and out. And here we have my last meal. So oats, dark chocolate here, and then my whey paste, which I'll put on top of this. Finished my pink salt for the day, so that is all the salt gone, and that is a full day of eating.